Let's see what we get today. Okay, then. Daily fair value gap there. Cool. Good morning, everybody. We're going to favor a run lower this morning. Won't be too aggressive, right? Huge, I mean, absolutely huge displacement here to open up. What was that? 135, 140 handles in ES in one candle. That's actually insane. So we're already going to be having a pretty large range. As we said, we should see price continue to move lower. We're going to look for a new day opening gap here to hold it. We expect this sell side to be the objective. From there, we'll see if we want to fill in more of this huge inefficiency we've created here. Going to be hard for targets, so we'll just have to use like quadrants of that. Take the levels. Okay. So this will give us some levels to look for if we can continue to move lower. So far, we already have created a little bit of the YouTube framework. So as we trade back up into that daily fair value gap, but we have that short-term low being cleared there. Short-term high, excuse me. What is going on here? Oh, that's why. For the short-term high, we create the break-in structure through the low. We leave the inefficiency, right? That's the YouTube framework. Inefficiency holds. And now we're continuing to move lower. So we've just picked up this short-term low. No closure below it. So right now it's simply a short-term low being cleared. We want to see price close below that. That'll create a true break-in structure. Get the break-in structure, then we'll look for price to continue to move lower, utilizing the inefficiency now here, inversion. You notice that's the only fair value gap created from this low to the high. First time we come into it, we hold, displace through it, then it holds as a premium. So we should see that continue to hold. We want to see price work through that low. Large opening range in both. So opening range midpoint is below the sell side here. Opening range midpoint below first presented here in NQ. Same sell side. So we're currently looking for the both. Looking for the same delivery in both the instruments here this morning. Sell side movement. We said next thing we're looking for here in ES, we want to see price close below this low now. That'll create the break-in structure. That'll get us below this current inefficiency that we're stuck within. So we've closed below this one. We trade down into the short-term low in this bullish fair value gap, right? We're holding. We've just now closed below that. So actually, right, we should see this hold. No inches for us or anything, as we said, very early, huge range. So we're just going to let price kind of move this morning. But we can follow it like this. So if we want to stay heavy, we'd like to see that inversion hold. We now have created this wick, right? That's a break in structure and a short-term low. Midpoint of the wick is the low of this 1 minute inefficiency. So if the premiums want to continue to hold and be respected, as we said, we should see this be the new area of resistance. We'll tape read that, see if it wants to accelerate us down into these lows. NQ, let's see what low, same spot. So we pick up that short-term low. As we said, this was the original inversion that was used. So we would have to have stop above that just in case it wants to try to retest that. We've already hit it once, so ideally we just continue to work lower. Notice we have a volume imbalance there as well. So even if we did go up here, I don't want to see the bodies hold that. We could wick into the higher one. Bodies shouldn't be breaking this volume imbalance. There, we'll see if we just can't get that sell off lower. Attack some lows, right? So this is the external range sell side, but before that, we still have 3 set of sell side pulls. So we can expect really hit, bounce, final delivery. If it doesn't want to just fall through that aggressively. Move that for now, keeping the inversion. We're tapering this here, right? Entry would have been right on that inversion there. Now we should see price continue to move lower. Keep on moving, keep on moving. NQ is honestly a little bit better actually, because it's actually, wait, NQ, yeah, let's show that. New week opening gap, got below its new week opening gap. So that level is going to be pretty strong resistance. Should see it continue to move lower, work for this low. Same sense, ES should continue to move lower as well. No first presented yet. We haven't created any fair value gap since actually 9:05. So still waiting for our first inefficiency. We expect high resistance lower. Should still see that continue to work. We did pick up the first low. So as we said, after clearing these lows, we do expect little short-term pullbacks. Clear that low, we should pull back into the inversion, which then should hold to try to clear this low. Let's say that we're actually going to start trying to break some of these premiums. I don't mind looking for some of these highs now. Because really, since this current high here that started the leg, all highs have been left, right? High, lower 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 high here, equal highs. Let's actually clear this up. Move that one for now. As we said, short-term low here has been cleared. NQ is actually not even cleared this wick. It's a pretty significant SMT at the moment. We're simply holding this rejection block in NQ. See if that creates that lift. Said a volume imbalance here is allowed. We'll see what the bodies do. That'll be a good tell. If we can trade up into that, hold the bodies below it. Still like the idea of coming for a low. Let's say we displace above, close above the volume imbalance, reclaim this bullish fair value gap. And at that point, as we said, highs will become our objective again. Ideally, I'd like to see this hold. I want to get this low and then ideally this low as well. So we're still looking bearish here. We want to see this be a swing high. That was a great rejection. Right, wick went into the volume imbalance, body couldn't even get above midpoint of the current inversion. At this point, if we push through that wick, we're going to be bearish. Especially if the very next candle does that. That'll be a pretty bullish signature. So we're still waiting and seeing. If the idea for us is we want to see this low, ideally from here, high of the inversion tries to hold, which is also midpoint of that current wick. So now we're looking here, right? We want to see bodies getting above that. If we do, So we said that turns this wick almost into a gap itself. That's how we look at that. So we're going to be adding a discount and replacing this current premium here. It's only 9:38, right? So it's still very early in the morning, first day of the week. Not in a rush to do too much. Just trying to get a gauge of what current price wants to do. We thought for a minute last week that, hey, we might have been able to get out this range, right? We're going to leave the 300-day range on that daily chart. And price immediately says, nope, right back into it. That's hilarious. Sounds about right, though. Forced manipulation. So right here, we're currently interesting spot. We've reclaimed the bullish fair value gap. Volume bound still holding, however. So now we're competing between two PD arrays. Admittedly, because we have closed above this, I'm thinking that price is going to want to push through the volume balance and retest this fair value gap here. From there, if we get above that, as we said, we're going to be pretty bullish. This wick ideally continues to hold price. We can wick above it, but as soon as the body closes above it, right, we're going to become pretty bullish at that point. In the short term, at least. So just like that, right? So body closes above it after respecting the volume imbalance and the wick. We'll see if that holds now. Good morning, brother. Yeah, so for me, as we said, huge range, right? Which means we probably won't take any entry today. We just want to see how price is going to move. Get a gauge early on. If we see something that's very, we'll say obvious, I don't mind trying to do something just because it's a large range. So we won't need much movement. But as of now, no pressure to try to take an entry or anything. That's a afterthought. We just want to read it, see how it delivers this morning. Ideally, we would go for lows, right? That's kind of what I'm favoring. We go through that daily volume balance. We close right back below it on a 4 hour, right? Pretty aggressive wick. On a 1 hour, it's a wick as well. Bodies are holding that. So I'd like to see us work back into this large inefficiency we've created this morning. On the way there, though, this might be ugly, as we say. So we'll have to be pretty cautious. What's up, gato? We the gato that was in the Discord? That gato? El gato? Or just different name? Different person, same name. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Nice to see you, man. So to say currently, we do think we're going to try to get through here. This fair value gap. We have turned this wick into a discount. We've turned the original bullish fair value gap back into a bullish discount. So now we have two discounts here, the wick and the 1 minute. We'll see if we can confirm true closure above the wick. First time we do it, we trade right back into it. We still respected this bullish, however. Displacement away from it again, closure above. So at this point, if we can close above it for a second time, we should see bullishness. And then we could work back for at least, I'm thinking this high here becomes like the easy high to target. So that would have been entry, shoot. We were going to try to go in here to capture that little pullback, but let's see. Hey, Cal, good shit, brother. Oh, that dumb trade we were talking about, probably, huh? That was just range bound. That's how it goes, though, right? We stuck in that nonsense. You survive, and then you get the payoff. I love that. Good shit, dog. Survive in advance. All right, I am liking bullishness here. I can't lie. I'm liking that. I'm liking this wick. This should be a protected low. And then we can come back. Look at this inefficiency here, okay? We never get into it at all. Oh, we do barely. But still. Midpoint of that is still open. That becomes a pretty open inefficiency. We could partial there. We might have to go micro. What if we went to, what's that risk? 1200. Huge range. We might actually have to switch that up. Because I want to try to be involved here with a little bit less risk though. So we're going to switch to micro so we could risk percentage 0.25%. I'm going to try that there. Light risk, 0.25% risk on the micros. We switch to micros here just because the huge range, right? Normally we're not going to have, as we said, that was like 130. Let's actually see what it was in ES. This one single candlestick here that creates the fair value gap moved. Yeah, that's actually insane. 139 handles in one candlestick on ES of all things. So that's pretty dangerous. So let's go back to our micros and we'll see if we can use our micros here. All right, so we're in there. As we said, we want to see this be a protected low. We're really utilizing the wick here as our entry. So we're looking for this wick to be what's being respected. If we fall right through it, as we said, we'll be pretty quick to cut that. Small risk. Stop out quickly. Won't be too big of a deal there. Because of how we are moving stair stepper, if we can get this high, we'll try to partial some there. We'll do a third. So if we have 13, let's close 4. Just under a third of that there at that high if we can get it. ES&NQ is delivering nicely how we'd want to see. ES got a little bit more stuck though. I didn't like that. I wanted this to be a wick ideally. We are holding midpoint, which is fine, but I want to get it back above this wick here. So we need to reclaim the wick ideally because we're going to leave first presented. I didn't want to leave a bearish first presented. So we'll see if we can fully close this in. We do. Okay, perfect. So there's not going to be any fair value gap there. I like that. Now we just want to see quick expansion. If we can get this partial, we'll be pretty quick to go break even. Price is a little bit wonky this morning. So we want to just secure some and be able to, yeah, secure that pretty much, right? We're going to go 4. We're going to go 4, 4. Yeah, 4, 4 final there. So we'll layer out some exits if we can. So far, we're holding that wick nicely. Missed the swing low just by a candle. Unfortunate. That's okay, though. ES&NQ a little bit more bullish, so we want to see if ES can catch up to that. ES&NQ falls here, it's going to be a bad sign for ES, especially with it being the weaker of the two currently. Working lower, see if we want to get that low now. Closure below this low will be pretty sloppy. We can attack this low wicket as long as we close above the midpoint here. If we saw something like that, that'll honestly be beneficial for us. Short-term low cleared might create some lift. Wouldn't want to see short-term low being closed below. That's a short-term low being taken. All right, so it'll be a break in structure. Looks like we're about to get that. Let's see. Last second we snapped just back in that range. So still got a chance. This candle has to negate, however. We've closed below midpoint of the wick. We want to see this candle get right back above that. If not, that becomes a premium now, so we're going to struggle to try to get bullish. Unfortunately, we're just getting sideways here. So I was looking for a little bit more expansion, but just running into that consolidation. New week opening gap. So stuck between new wick opening gap and opening range gap. I want closure above this wick because that'll be above opening range gap. And then we may be able to start to move away here. Yikes. We're actually going to close 5 here. We'll close more. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Not there. 5 there. 4 there. That'll leave 5 left, or 4 left for the final if we can get it. I like that, but now this volume imbalance here has to stay open bullish. Okay, so if we're going to make that move to run out the short-term low, negate midpoint, and close back above the wick, leaving a volume imbalance, we should see expansion here. NQ is just below that objective. So NQ should break its high and continue to push, which will allow ES to get our partial. As we said, once we partial, we'll go right to break even here. A little bit of a wonky morning, so we just want to secure some and be able to watch at that point. We don't want to see NQ run this high, close back inside the range. That'd be less than ideal, actually. It's a short-term high being cleared, especially as NQ fails to get that. So we want to break in structure here, bullish. We want to see this level be ideally traded up and through. That's buy side. That buy side is our exit here in ES. So if we do get that in NQ, we want to see price pretty much push through that. That'll create more lift in ES. We said once we get our first partial, if we can, we'll go right to break even. We have still not created today's first presented, so we'll see if we can do that now. We said we didn't want to see a bearish one be created. We do want to see a bullish one. So if we can leave the bullish first presented open, that'd be beautiful. Especially in NQ, look at that. If we left that open as we break structure, that'll be textbook, especially as we're leaving new week opening gap. So currently we're sitting pretty good here. I like what we're looking at. So we'll look to get our partial off. Depending on how we interact there, we'll go break even right away. If we can close above that, we'll just keep it break even. We won't be too greedy today. Right, especially because that's the buy side there. Ooh. Okay, so this might be dangerous here. So yeah, as we run that high, we're definitely going to want to get break even, because we could see price try to fall here. In NQ, we want to see today's first presented hold. Hopefully we get that candle. That'd be a shame if we fell from here. First presented here as well. This is actually a suspension block, so that's even better. Bullish suspension block created in ES. Want to see that hold, get us this high. We can't move our stop yet because we could still retest this wick. Once we hold, okay, nice. Just a little bit more follow through here to the upside. One tick. And come on now. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Boop. Break even. Beauty. Risk free. Love it. Now we gotta wait and watch. First presented should hold, so we're fine going break even here. Second partial will be this high. Final exit. Maybe we go back for daily, huh? We had a daily fair value gap up here. I'm gonna move this there for now, because we're looking to get a little bit more aggressive. So as we say, if NQ could hold that close above, that's going to be nice and bullish, especially as we held. Yeah. All right, so let's just commit to the bullishness a little bit. That's true break in structure there, right? So new break in structure, love that. Bullish. First presented created, double wick, those become new discounts. So really we should just hold here. First presented can be allowed, that should hold, which means I'm comfortable going like this there. Once we get this partial, we'll go to that low. And then, yeah, we'll just go aggressive and look for final exit at external range buy side liquidity. Sure. Liking it, loving it, watching it. If NQ could leave that fair value gap there, that'd be money. Perfectly aligned. That might even be a breakaway, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised to see that not be traded into. If we do come into it, though, it should hold. That's new day opening gap, so that should hold as well, like that. If you wanted to try to add another, yeah, I kind of like where we are actually. But new day opening gap will be here as we trade down into that. That's aligned nicely with these wicks. If we can get that high, we'll look to close, or not close, but we'll move stop loss to, depending actually. If we create another swing low here, we might jam stop all the way up here actually. Ooh, that's all right. Let's see if we get stopped here. Last line of defense, first presented with suspension block. Held once, want to hold twice. From here, I don't mind partialing at this short-term high if we can get that at least. Just secure some more. And then we'll put stops at whatever low was created inside of this first presented. All right, we're looking for a quick rejection. Matter of fact, that's a pretty strong rejection. So let's go back there. We'll go here, just below previous days. I want to say that's previous days high. Okay, that's previous days high. So we're going to target Friday's high. Want to see expansion. Unfortunately, we got back below these wicks. That becomes a premium. 1 minute fair value gap here, also premium here. So now we have the issue of running into this, trying to get lower, and Q close below its first presented, right? That's sloppy. That's going to lead to lower delivery. So actually, I think we might get stopped here. Unless ES can hold its bullishness and NQ reclaims first presented. If that's the case, lovely. At this point, we get up to this high. Matter of fact, we even get above this fair value gap. We're going to jam stop to this low. That'll be the ends model, 5 handles, 6 handles. So we're going to secure us at least another ends model, right? A 5 handle run. Stop loss got to be right at that low. All right. We'll wait one more candlestick because we have a 1 minute bearish. So this should give us pretty significant information here. Want to see price get through both of these. We have to reclaim the bullish here, and we have to invert the current bearish. So we're going to have to work pretty hard. See price work through that. Thanks, awesome. Decent trading. And I did lie. Take it back. I just don't like how we're moving. We're going to go right at that high if we can get it. Because if we're going to take that out and try to get our stop adjusted, we want to secure some more. So let's secure some more. Let's adjust our stop. As we said, if we even close above this, we're going to move it to below first presented like that. Because from here, we should be able to at least get this high. We're going to go right on that level. We've reclaimed both of the premiums, turn those into discounts. First presented should be done for the time being. These levels here should hold. Ideally now, we really want to see this liquidity hold. So that's the break in structure. If we're going to close above it, get below it, get above it again, that level absolutely needs to hold us and accelerate us into this high here. So far, it is trying to hold. We'll see if we can get that acceleration. We also want a partial here because notice NQ a little bit lower. So we have a chance of running this high. NQ doesn't, and then we fall. So we just want to be sure that we can secure some more. Need one more handle there. Wow. One tick. One tick and one tick only. We should be good now. Beautiful. Get me out. No, don't do that. No way. We didn't get hit on that. Wow, no way. I mean, we're gonna have to move our... That'd be unfortunate. We trust though, right? That'd be very unfortunate there. Just drops 40 handles on us. We want to see NQ reclaim that, so all right, beautiful. Now we're okay. So we said that low there becomes our protected low. Don't want to see anything less than that. We've reclaimed the discounts in here. We're starting to create this stair stepper. That's why I'm going to be pretty aggressive with stop now. So at this point, we'll just let the final run. Or what we should do is we always say, if price doesn't want to run out the external range, it's going to hold at the very last premium. That's going to be this inefficiency. So we'll close half there. Very large range this morning, so this allows us to take a lot of partials. That's why we're doing that. Normally we would hold, but with how large the range is, we're able to secure some along the way. So we'll close two more there. At that point, if that gets taken, stop loss will be somewhere. More than likely, there'll be some type of short-term low created inside this fair value gap. So as we trade down into that, hold there, get up into partial, stop loss, we'll get moved all the way up there. So far, so good. You said we had that new day opening gap that held. We've gotten back above it. If we're going to retest it again, it should continue to hold ideally. See, 1 minute created in there also. No, my headset is dead. Unacceptable. Should have charged it. Okay, beautiful. So that's that new day opening gap, opening week, excuse me, that we're looking at there. 1 minute reclaim bullish. Should see the expansion. NQ reclaimed all that nonsense as well, so got to buy its buy side first presented held. Let's kind of make it cleaner. Buy side there. That should hold. Get us through this high, which gets ES up into our second partial or our third partial. And then, yeah, right. So as we said, that swing low there that's formed inside this inefficiency, if that's still protected low, that leads us into the higher 1 minute up here, clearing that short-term swing high. This will be the low that should be protected, allowing us to place our stop right below that. Because the range is pretty large and we've secured a lot, we won't have to be as tight, so we'll put it just below the actual 1 minute that's right here instead of this low, just in case it wants to get a tick below that. Have to wait for that partial, however. Not much between us and that partial besides, I forgot, we did have previous day's high there. We just smacked that. I'm completely okay taking that partial there. Forgot about previous day's high, so we'll content that. We just got to get above this candlestick. Yeah, previous day's high, that's a great spot to take one. We should have actually held that there, yikes, because it might just reject aggressively. All right, so yeah, we're definitely going to want to retake one there if it can get it. We'll just look for a quick bounce into it again. Boo. Should see if we go. Oh my, that was dangerous. Hey man, did you grow account from prop firms? Yes, I did early on. So honestly, I was pretty early into the whole prop firm space, like before futures prop firms actually were a thing. So there was Apex, but for me, it was like my funded futures, so it was more CFD. So that's where I got my start in those prop firms. Opened a small account, and now I actually am working with Tradeify. So I do have some Tradeify accounts, getting back into like that prop firm space of the futures. But no, honestly, when I actually started originally, I did not do props at all. Straight money cash accounts, which in the grand scheme of things probably was a bad idea because I lost all that money. Damn, that's unfortunate there. So yeah, okay. Previous day's high becomes objective. That's just poor management on my part there. We should have went for that instead of that inefficiency. That's all right though. We secured most of it. First presented still is a chance. If we end up getting stopped, not even stressed at all. Lines portion secured. Only have 4 contracts remaining. It'll be a win. Currently, I would say it's best if you actually know how to trade. Or let's even say that you're just figuring it out and you're kind of getting out of that break-even stage. I do think prop firms are best to utilize. Just the leverage that it allows you to trade with is a lot better. And then you take those payouts and you put them into your own account, right? You build your own personal account. That's always been the way. You use prop firms to kind of subsidize your own personal account. Because prop firms are a great tool. I just think people run into issues of trying to treat it more like a casino. Right? Where they're just trying to risk a little bit of money and make a shit ton of money. So they're just burning through evaluations. Or they're burning through performance accounts and things like that. My belief has always been, if you feel as if you're ready to try trading, get 2 50K accounts, right? Cheap. Secure a payout with that. Once you prove that you can do it, then you use those profits to start getting more accounts, right? That's how you kind of create a large portfolio. You use the payouts to get yourself some more accounts. And then once your account is large enough, then go straight personal. Personal will always be undefeated just because no rules, right? Besides, of course, don't lose everything, but if you're at that stage, you should never have to worry about that. Prop firms are very restrictive. I mean, if we're being honest, they're made for you to lose, quite frankly. So we're just getting range bound in here. We could go up, we could go down. This is where we're getting 50-50. Right, so we have no bias once again. We have hit first presented, so that could hold and get us bullish. However, at the same time, 1, 2, 3 drives higher into previous day's high, breaking structure, leaving a bearish fair value gap. So as we say, 50-50 for us, already securing a nice little trade this morning. Absolute zero need or interest. So we'll watch for a little bit. I would like to see if buy side can't get back and get taken. So if we can get back above like our opening week or a new week opening gap here, have a chance of running bullish once again. Okay. So yeah, watch here. Let's see if we leave that like that. NQ, even worse. Just consolidating at the buy side expected. higher time frame wise, we're just in consolidation, 100%. Yeah, you take the high, you take the low of the current range. We got up into midpoint. Now we're in the lower quadrant, but just range, man. Right, notice we haven't cleared the high or the low. And if I was to take this range, right, current dealing range, we notice first presented is smack dab in the middle of that range. So that's going to be very easy to continue to gravitate towards. Favor buy side, so suspension block. Oh wait, that should be. Oh no, suspension block there. Yes, is it? Okay, yeah, an ES it is actually. So, oh wait, now it is. What the hell? That was weird. Yeah, I like that. First presented being a suspension block as we break structure. That's good. That's a very strong discount. So we would like to see that hold, especially as we now run out the low here, deliver into this lower inefficiency. Down close candle, rejection, no wick to the downside, straight displacement higher. So we'd favor a little, maybe a first presented tap, release into buy side type delivery. Obviously, the actual first presented fair value gap itself will be here. Oops, right, it's this very minuscule one. We're just pulling this whole thing because we want to use the actual suspension block. So we'll watch that. Give me a sec, I'm gonna reload the drink. Nice, not much movement still, so still hold that same idea. Should see buy side. And then Q, we reclaim the buy side pool. That level should be used. That's what we saw there. Especially after we close above the high, we then use the discount to continue to expand. Should see the buy side now in ES. So just ran into a situation where tight, a little too tight. Well, we get pretty much low ticked on that. Completely fine with that, however. Secured most of it, only had 4 mini contracts left. At this point, we're just waiting to see if we can get final delivery. As we often said, if we don't want to clear so the current dealing range high to low. One second. So okay, so if we don't want to clear that dealing range high and low, last premium, which is this inefficiency here, will hold price. So let's watch that, because if we get something where we trade into that, reject, close back below the buy side, I like returning into first presented. We can get into our buy side up here. We'll call it a morning there. At this point, we're just looking for like high resistance, right? So no real inefficiencies, all overlapping candlesticks. We should continue to get up there though. We said that last premium, we'll try to hold if it wants to stay bearish. If we can trade up and through that, I like the idea of coming for the buy side and then coming back for that daily fair value gap that we have up top. Nice. All right. You said, let's see what we get here. Close above this, we should see the buy side. We did close above the buy side there. Higher time frame has not. Wait for this 5 minute to close. Still no inefficiencies or anything created. One thing to note, however, is this candlestick closes above the buy side for the first time. Did we? Okay, so we actually didn't get above that wick either. If we did close above this wick, we could look at that wick as a gap itself. Still will. We'll see if this can actually hold. If that closes above, same idea. We should see that discount there try to hold us. Especially if we close through this 1 minute here. At that point, should just see the continued bullish delivery. Look at the buy side. Quick delivery into that high. So now that we've completely delivered into it, this is where we'll see rejection if price doesn't want to stay bullish. First thing we'll look for is to reclaim the wick and get back below this buy side pull. Perfect delivery. Okay. So notice that we hit the high, we go down right into that buy side perfectly. Now we should see the expansion. Said once this candlestick closes above the wick, that turns the wick into the discount. Perfect delivery anchored inside of the wick and the buy side. Nice. A pretty clean run. As we said, just high resistance, no inefficiencies, but we still know exactly which discounts we'll be holding here on the run up. So now this inversion should hold if we're going to trade back down into it. And then we'll look for that final release into the buy side if it doesn't want to just get there aggressively from here. And once we get that, that'll be it for us this morning. Call it there. Oh. There it is. Beauty. Let's see how we interact there. Because if we can go right through that, right, we kind of expect bullishness to continue. Still have some of these highs. Same idea. We have this inefficiency here now too. Sitting below a new high. So it looks like we want to start getting bullish here. Cleared that low. Low. Cleared. Nice. Holds. 1, 2, 3. Still would expect at least this inversion if we're going to try to stay bullish. Let the higher time frames close above, right? 5, 15. And then we'll see a pullback. But I like the idea of coming up for here now. And if we're going to be real bullish, just looking for some highs. As we said, we think we're going to be pretty manipulated. So if that's the case, more than likely we come back into this range that we've just been stuck. We made an effort last week to try to leave that, even on a daily, right? Some pretty aggressive movements lower, closing below all these swing lows. However, this day's candlestick just completely negated all of that. So I would expect to see this stay bullish. Bait people trying to go short, thinking, oh, this is about to fall, and now come back for all these highs, or at least some of them. 10:20, so we'll wait a little bit, see if we can't get up in here. Give it till about 10:30. Maybe we could see it. I mean, this, you could almost say that was a black swan right here, brother. I can't tell you the last time ES has ever moved 140 handles in one candlestick. That's not even CPI. I can almost guarantee you people got absolutely blown out right there on that. Oh yeah, there's 0% chance 80% of the people didn't blow an account right there. You could see the same movement lower. See something like this. Right back down. So I mean, this is going to be the largest range candle we've had in, let me just see real quick. Let's say that the higher low doesn't get cleared. That's 260 handles. I mean, this is the only candle. How big was this one? Yeah. 260, 237. So, I mean, really, this is the largest range since the original crash here, October 10th. But that kind of set into motion all this consolidation. So that might be significant. We'll see. Wow. Now that we've cleared that buy side, we can start moving lower. If we're still bullish, we'll probably just try to hold this inversion. First time we're coming into it. So you could see something like that holds, makes another attempt at a high. We fall through that. We should start trying to attack some of these lows, however. This is that trend line liquidity we speak of. Where we target that, we don't use it to trade. But that's liquidity to target. Things are very critical. You know, Dubai airport gone. We'll see, we'll see. The more I think about it, man, I mean, it is insane, but America's really been at war since I've been born. That's all we know how to do. Been fighting in the Middle East since I was a baby. I'd almost welcome a crash. We just want to be out of the range. So one thing to note as well, this could be the morning range high, right? So 930 morning range low, all the way up to morning range high. If we close below this fair value gap, we could see price make an attempt to work back into the range. I like first presented. Like, let's say that we just take the current equilibrium of that delivery. Lo and behold, the first presented perfectly. You know, I could see that, but we'll just have to wait until it happens. Volume imbalance. Okay, so I'd actually like to see that hold there. If we can't go 2 minute, we'll tape read that. See if we can't start working back down into the range now. At least first presented midpoint. Left a little 1 minute fair value gap here. See if something like that can't play out. Nice. Yeah, we'll watch that. 10:30, so that's the morning range high now. If we don't want to clear morning range high, we work back into the range. First present is a good objective. Even if we don't want to get all the way in there. A lot of lows, right? So we picked up that low. We have this low. No, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Left a 2 minute there. We'll see if we even get back into it. This 2 minute straight one-sided. Pretty heavy. Could see it just continue to sell off. Yeah, that is true. Not for you, bro. They were a little privileged here in the States, that's for sure. I think that's another reason why people don't really worry about it too much here. We're blinded by luxury. Like we don't ever really see the effects of what goes on, huh? We're very privileged in that sense. Exactly. Yep. I hear you, brother. Respect that. We are blessed. We cause all the issues and we get to just enjoy them from the comfort of our couches. While everyone else pays the price. What a shame. Hey, that's what the powerful love, though. It's just pawns, right? Pawns on the chessboard. All right, let's see if we retest a 2 minute. Still like the idea of trying to get bearish from here. We did hold the bullish breaker. That is true. Who they about to bring the draft back? Don't say that. He would do some crazy shit like that. Best of luck. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're watching that. We'll see if we get bullish or bearish from here. Because ideally, I'd like to see if morning range high hold. So we kind of just work back into this range. First presented. If we want to stay bullish, however, make another run at the high. That's cool. This fair value gap should help us here, right? Because that'll be an order block per se if we end up kind of closing above that aggressively. Order block anchored to the low. Yeah, okay. So let's see if that holds there. Might want to make another pass at a high now. We reclaim that bear. Oh, let's looking at the fair value gap here. That's pretty bullish. Short-term low cleared. Breaking structure at the high. Order block there. We'll look at that actually. See if that holds. Make a second attempt up into some buy side. If we fall through that, good idea that, or good attempt to come for some sell side. There's the order block now. We'll see the reaction we get. We also left a little 1 minute. We did. It's also a 1 minute fair value gap. So double discount. Double jeopardy. Which makes me believe if we did fall through that, we should see bearishness even more. Because this will be that negation of this too, right? Closure above, right back below it. Held it nicely though. Still 50-50. We'll see if we want to explode back above the equal highs or fall below the low. Watching here. Nice. So we were trying to hold the order block, right? We held midpoint, that 1 minute. We close above this high and reclaim it. We need to see it hold twice though. Then we should see some release. Like say that we did this, close back below it again. At that point, we want to see bearishness because now we're just getting ugly. If we didn't see bearishness, we just get sideways. So currently, because we did reclaim that, one of two things, we either want to see price tap this, run aggressively higher, or negate that, fall right through it, and not really respect it. Let's say that we trade inside of it, we just hold here, we get range bound. We said more than likely, we just stay consolidating. That stays morning range high. And we take current low to high here. Notice we've already hit that equilibrium. So if our current dealing range is this low to this high, dealing range midpoint has been hit. So we can expect consolidation at that point. We'd love to see price try to break that low. I want to get midpoint of the entire range low to high. Right, so that's just the first presented high. Once again, let's show you that. Let's take the low all the way up to the high. Perfect. Right, so that's not very random. We just close below. Okay. See if we get bearish from here. Let's say that we come all the way back for this fair value gap. At that point, yeah, we're just range bound. Right, so we kind of expect that seek and destroy delivery to continue to take place. We should still see first presented eventually, but I think it'll just be more of a high resistance. Unless we can hold this low. We didn't get below this low. We did close below the order block's body, but we're looking for a true break and structure lower, which means this has to get closed below. So we'll watch that. Let's see. We close below that. Good chance we want to run for some lows here. Stay heavy. Oh, nope. Don't want to. Look at that. So just holding still. NQ, did NQ? NQ did get that low. Not much help, but we'll see if that wants to try to work lower. Currently, just a short-term low cleared. No break in structure. If we can get a low, get a break in structure, then we'll look for some follow through. Anytime we're running a low, though, not much conviction lower. Notice that. So still expecting kind of high resistance. Hard rejection. 1 minute fair value gap. We'll see if we get above that or if it just wants to hold there. That's the first fair value gap since this kind of run here. So might want to try to hold that. Wouldn't mind it. See if NQ, same idea. Smaller in NQ. Man, I just don't want to get that low. Shoot. See if we can hold the 1 minute. Continue to work bearish. Get some lows, huh? Retesting it. If we're going to continue to retest it, we need to see follow through commitment. This just turns into consolidation choppiness, especially if it can't even clear that low. We just want to see price kind of run aggressively. And, yeah, okay. So yeah, it does not want that low. Just playing there. Might want to get bullish here. That's pretty aggressive. Yeah, that's pretty bullish. Let's see what we get here. If we retest this one more time and run, we should see price try to get bullish, especially because NQ ran that low. So it's turning into where if it wants to clear lows and get into first presented, it kind of needs to move quickly. The longer we sit here, the easier it is to run against itself. If we can get closure below this, turning it into a break in structure, then at that point, I do believe we'll get at least first presented, maybe this low here. That's just like a short-term low, right? So it'd be like the next low in this kind of target. We've gotten this low, we've gotten this low. Next one's here. That only comes if we get a break in structure though. Jeez, yeah, that's ugly. That's a very ugly. NQ, did NQ get it? Nope. Not even an NQ either. Yikes. Can we get closure below? Closure below is what we're looking for. We also have the, what do we have there? Is that the 5-2? Okay. So a lot of inefficiencies also. New week opening gap or new day opening gap in NQ, right? Bodies don't want to leave it. So I'm thinking if we can get below that, we should be sitting pretty in both of these. There's a little bit of aggressive movement. That's nice, but it's worse if we don't close below this range. Like if we get something like that and it just snaps right back inside this range, that's actually even worse than just holding above it. Goodness, yeah, we're getting hideous. All right, we'll see. Said just waiting here at this point. Let's see if that wants to hold here. But yeah, seeing that makes me think it's going to reverse. Try to get bullish from here. Should have closed below that low. Let's look for the expansion all the way back up into this original fair value gap. And then from there, if we reclaim that, I don't mind seeing bullishness from there. If we can reclaim it, because we've done a lot of work with the lows already. Would have loved to see at least the sell side of first presented, but that's enough there. We'll see how we react. Still have a chance of running that high, breaking lower. Listen, pretty range bound here, so. Bullish volume imbalance, see what that wants to do. That stays open, that's a discount that could potentially be used. If it closes in, runs bearish, we're still looking for this. All right, brother, take care, my guy. Yeah, we're about to call it too, honestly. We're getting a little ugly. I just want to see if we can get that dang first presented, man. But hey, have a good day. YouTube, we'll probably be back next week for YouTube. Either that or Friday, but for those in the Discord, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Keep it rolling. Jeez, yeah, that's hideous. Okay. So we're probably gonna run bullish from there. That should have been the bearishness. But nope, can't even do that. Another volume imbalance, yeah. Look for the expansion here. Should see expansion through fair value gap. But that's like the 8th time trying to get that low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8th time. So it's very clear we don't want that. So we're going to look for expansion away. NQ, same idea. As we continue to hit that level, we should just see it move away. Unless we get extremely strong displacement that closes below it. But if we can get that, we still want to see this. This is the level of support. Key level currently. As long as we're above that, we don't expect price to fall. If we can close below that, especially now, that'd be beautiful. But 9th retest, perfect. Don't get your hopes up. More than likely just snaps back inside the range. Yep, not surprising. 3 seconds, it's going to hold that level. Yes, indeed. This candle's just going to go right back up. Expect to hold from here. Oh, wait. Follow through. Okay, but it only matters if we get closure. As we said, this all is for naught unless it closes below, creating a break in structure. Then we could look for more follow through. 15 seconds. Let's see how we close here. If this came all the way back up, geez, you know, look at that. Wow. That's a worst case scenario there. Holy cow. Wow, that's actually wild. All right, there's the stop out now. All right, so if we were still up here, in theory, you could just hold though. You'd be break even. So you said we were looking at this as kind of the framework. At this point, because it's so sideways, we'd for sure be just break even holding like that. If price wants to hold this fair value gap, cool. If not, stop at break even. Still looking for closure below. NQ a little bit better, but still that's, yeah, pretty gross in all of these. Really gross. Holy cow.